Could you please introduce yourself to the audience and reflect also, as Mary did? What have you heard here? And what do you think this issue of putting local people at the center of action, what does it mean to you from the work you do?
Thank you very much, Christina, and good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. Well, the answer to your question about local people is that's what I work on for the last 30 years in the climate change space. But I'd like to just share an anecdote about this initiative that has come about that we are celebrating and launching here today. It started before COP26 in Glasgow, and I must credit Nigel and Gonzalo, the two high-level champions at that time, to think of the Race to Resilience, the Resilience Hub, which we started in Glasgow, and we are now continuing here. And Sheila and I were part of that planning, and both of us said it has to be more than a talk shop. We just cannot come together, hear nice stories, talk to each other, have a feel-good feeling, and go home, and don't do anything more until we come back again to another talk shop a year later. So Sheila took the initiative, and I, in a humble way, supported her to make this happen. This Roofs Over Our Head initiative came from her mind, talking to all the possible partners, and we are very, very pleased to see them gather here today and promise to take action. And I'm very certain that we will now be able to move it forward in a real way that affects real people on the ground, people like the people that Teresa represents in the Philippines and all over the world, particularly in my country, Bangladesh. We'll be working together there as well. If we can't deliver something for them, then all of this meeting and talk really is genuinely worthless. I don't believe it is. I believe we have a purpose here, but it's up to us to realize that purpose and do something with what we talk about here. And that, I think, this is a testimony of the fact that Sheila, and I'm a humble supporter of Sheila in this. She's very much her idea. Well, I introduced her to climate, so I helped her, as with Mary, I remember many years ago, explaining how the climate issue overlaps with what they are interested in, human rights, working with slum dwellers, and showing that there is a synergy. And I think this is what we are now seeing, that synergy can be brought out and taken forward, and that's a win-win for all of us. Thank you.
So I saw you a few days ago. I came up to you, you didn't know me, and I told you there was one person I wanted to meet at this COP, and it was you. I did, I literally. And then I end up sitting here moderating this session. I cannot believe it. He's been at every COP. Every one of them. And if you follow him on Twitter, you'll learn everything that's happening even before the negotiations happen. He's all over it. But with that, we're not, yes, it is a moment. We come to COP, we connect. It is exciting, it is exhausting. It is the sense of possibility, of distress, of hurt, of possibility. But I think what you're saying is, it's about following up. It is about, if we are showing with the right purpose and the right heart and following up, whatever we can contribute can make wonders. I know Sheila was saying you're her guru. You are an inspiration for many of us, and we really acknowledge your work here. It's been amazing. You've been the true climate champion for many decades. Some parting thoughts on the scale of informal settlements in the climate agenda. We talk about the race to resilience, race to zero. Those numbers of informal settlements are huge. And the crisis and the floods in Bangladesh are relentless. How do we continue to improve the quality of the conversations in terms of showing up and making things happen? How do you feel in today's, how the conversation is going on today and the possibilities?
Well, I'm both sad and heartened. Sad that we have not been able to take the actions that we promised, we knew we had to do, we promised we'd do them, and we haven't done them collectively, globally. And unfortunately, this being the 27th Conference of Parties, and you're quite right, I've been to all 27 of them, we have now entered into a new era of what I call the era of loss and damage. So this is COP1 of a new era of losses and damages due to human-induced climate change happening as we speak. And really that is an unfortunate situation. On the other hand, the heartening part is the knowledge of this issue is now very well understood all over the world. And there are many, many different actors. And the pavilions and these, to me, the COP, the real COP is the pavilions where we are getting together and networking, not the negotiations where the negotiators are still arguing over very arcane matters that most people don't even understand what they're talking about. But this is really where it is. And we are now able to move forward. And to me, the essence of the Paris Agreement is that we needed governments to form the agreement, but we don't need them necessarily to implement it. We can all implement it. And to me, this is implementing the Paris Agreement by people working together, and in this case, focusing on slum dwellers all over the world, which we heard are extremely important constituency of vulnerable people, but not just vulnerable, people with initiative and agency. And so how do we then harness that together? And to me, that is the way forward, the positives coming out of this. And I'm absolutely, always come to the COPs with positive feelings. Even though sometimes it doesn't work out, I might leave with some negative feelings, but I come back again with optimism that we can do things. And the optimism comes from the people that are here, not from the negotiators themselves, unfortunately.